victims of the 1881 Thumb Fires, through Hurricane Hugo and the Northern California earthquake, fulfilling the urgent needs of the medical community with the nation's premier blood supply. The American Red Cross is trained, dedicated people you can count on. We are neighbors like you, committed to help people prevent, prepare for, and cope with emergencies right now. From the Bay, Saginaw, and Genesee Lapeer chapters, here is the latest news and information from your American Red Cross.
Merry Christmas and welcome to the special holiday edition of Red Cross Currents. My name is Billy Ray Bates and I'm a volunteer with the Saginaw County chapter of the American Red Cross. And like a lot of you, I'm going to be spending today with my family. But in the middle of all the expensive presents and the big turkey dinner and all of that, we're hoping that you will remember today a special gift that you can give all year round, not just at Christmas time, and it doesn't cost you a dime, and that's the gift of blood. That's what we're going to talk about today, and we're also going to talk about why the holidays, the need for blood becomes even more crucial. With me today as guests on the show are Linda Bond. She is Deputy Director of Donor Resources at the Saginaw Valley Blood Program. Welcome, Linda.
Hi, thank you.
And also with us, Gail Mance. She's Director of Donor Resources at the Blood Program. Hello.
Hi.
Now, this could be confusing sometimes. We have the Saginaw Valley Blood Program, which the two of you work for, and we have the American Red Cross, which I'm a volunteer for. There's also an organization called the Michigan Community Blood Centers. How do those three groups relate?
Well, actually, the American Red Cross Saginaw County Chapter House and the Michigan Community Blood Center kind of had a marriage, and out of that was produced the Saginaw Valley Blood Program, excuse me. So we really work for both the Blood Program and for the American Red Cross, and it's a joint effort. The American Red Cross provides all the recruitment and all the volunteers for all the blood drives and for the center itself, and the Saginaw Valley Blood Program supplies all the nurses for collecting and the lab for processing and all the technical parts. Oh, okay. So it's a good marriage.
Yeah. Okay, now let's get down to the basics of donating blood. First of all, what requirements does a person have to meet to donate blood?
The basic requirements for donating blood are you have to be at least 110 pounds, between the ages of 17 and 76. You have to be in good health and feel good the day you donate, and eat a good nutritious meal before you donate.
Okay, well that sounds simple enough. How often can a person give blood?
You can give blood every 56 days.
And why is it every 56 days?
It takes about 56 days to completely replenish the pint of blood that you donated.
Okay, well when we come back, we are going to talk more about donating blood at the holidays, and we're going to learn a little bit more about the Saginaw Valley Blood Program. So stay with us. Welcome back to Currents. We're talking about donating blood during the holidays. That is very important. With me today are Linda Bond and Gail Mance from the Saginaw Valley Blood Program. They're talking about donating blood and the basics and what requirements you have to meet to donate blood. Now, at the Saginaw Valley Blood work, is there a system where people can just come in and donate blood?
Yes, they can. They can come either on Monday and Thursday between 11 and 6:30, or Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 to 4:30. It's always better if they call and make an appointment. That way they can be sure they get in and they get out in as short as possible time. But if they want to just drop in, we'll be happy to take their blood.
Okay, we make it very easy for them. Now, you have something called the Bloodmobile. Can you explain what that is?
Well, you mean the blood bus?
Are they the same thing?
Well, the blood bus...
I've heard of both.
Okay. Terminology is a little difficult. Sometimes blood drives are also called bloodmobiles. Blood drives are where we go out to various places, churches or industries or schools, and we set up there in a room that they might have that's appropriate and draw blood there. Now, the blood bus, on the other hand, is a self-contained unit. It's a big, beautiful Bluebird bus, and it's just a few months old, and this enables us to go to smaller places that don't have room to set up for a blood drive, but we can just park the unit there and bring the donors right in and take their blood there.
Great. Now, how does the Saginaw Valley Blood Program keep track of its regular donors?
Oh, it's all computerized. Every time you donate blood, it goes into the computer, and we know how many times you've given blood, what your blood type is.
Okay, we have some special holiday blood drives coming up. Linda, can you tell us a little bit more about those?
Okay, well, the big blood drive that's coming up is our 6th annual broadcast blood boost, and that is going to be on December 30th at the Blood Center at 1771 Tittabawassee, and also January 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And you can come in between 11 and 7 and meet the hockey team on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th and get a free hockey puck if you donate blood. It's going to be really interesting. We're going to have all the radio stations will be there at various times, broadcasting from there.
Okay, and also we have some other blood drives coming up in the area. At the Michigan Community Blood Center at 1017 Johnson in Bay City, you can donate blood from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. At the Saginaw Valley Blood Program at your offices in Saginaw at 1771 Tittabawassee from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And also, coming up on December 28th, in Essexville at the KFC, you can donate blood from 2:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. On the 29th, at the Saginaw American Red Cross, the office is on North Michigan from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then on December 30th, in Pinconning at the KFC, you can donate from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. Now, coming up in January, we also have some events on the January 2nd, 3rd, and 4th at your offices again, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Saginaw Valley Blood Program. On the 2nd, at the Michigan Community Blood Center, 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And then you can donate on January 5th and 6th at the Bay Medical Center lobby from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now, Linda, how many blood donors do you get at the typical blood drive? How many people actually show up?
Well, the typical blood drive, you know, just taking an average, we probably have 40 people presenting, and out of those 40, probably 30 to 35 will actually be able to donate, and we'll get a unit of blood from them.
Okay. And how long does a unit of blood keep?
Well, we break it down into various components. Now, whole blood you can keep for 35 days. Red blood cells, well, in red blood cells too. Frozen red blood cells you can keep for about 1 to 3 years, I believe. Platelets you can only keep for 5 days. Plasma, fresh frozen plasma, you can keep about a year.
Okay. Now, this question is important in this day and age. What tests are performed on blood that's donated?
Well, of course, we test for hepatitis, the various strains of hepatitis, and syphilis, and of course, we're all afraid of the HIV virus, and we do test for the HIV virus, and we test for other bloodborne pathogens too. It's very well tested. No pint ever gets out without being thoroughly tested for all of those and more.
Okay, and it's important to stress that.
Oh yes, absolutely. It's a very safe blood supply. We're very lucky here because the Saginaw Valley Blood Program supplies all the blood for the Tri-City area. We do not import any blood. So any blood you receive, it's from your neighbor. It's not from San Francisco or New York or some other place. It's very local blood, and we have a very safe blood supply here.
Okay, good. Now, the way I understand it, 1 unit of blood can be used in a number of different ways. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. Again, we break it into components, and the platelets, which we talked about a minute ago, are usually used, it's a clotting factor, and it's used a lot in leukemia victims when they're having chemotherapy. It kills the platelets. So they have transfusions of platelets to keep them going. And often that will keep them going until they can get a match for bone marrow, which Gail will talk about in a minute. Plasma is used mainly in trauma cases, severe bleeding, just to get the volume up. They will give just the plasma. Red cells are usually given in surgery when you've lost blood in surgery and you need blood. They will give you just the red cells. You don't have to have all the parts of the blood.
Okay, now let's learn a little bit about bone marrow donation from Gail. What diseases is bone marrow used for?
Well, there are several different diseases, but 75% of the bone marrow is for leukemia diseases. Another disease is the Hopkins disease. We have bone marrow drives in the community twice a year through our broadcast blood boosts, which is coming up in January. Occasionally we'll go out into a rural area and have a bone marrow registry for people like in Chesney or Birch Run, where it's a little bit further away from the blood center. 12 people a week at our blood center, and right now our registry has 1.5 million people.
Great.
So that has grown in the last couple of years.
And we talked about the requirements for donating blood. What are the requirements for donating bone marrow?
It's a little bit different than blood donations. Blood donation, you have to be over 17. You have to be between the age of 17 and 76. But with bone marrow, you have to be between the age of 18 and 55. Now, the reason why we do that is because we want to make sure that you can accept the general anesthetic. You have to be in good health, and just between the ages of 18 and 55.
Okay, and how does this bone marrow registry work?
You need to take 2 vials of blood, which is about 4 tablespoons. When you donate blood, we take a little less than a pint. When you want to be put on the registry, we take 2 vials, which is about 4 tablespoons. Then you're put into one of 104 bone marrow registries, and you then become part of the 1.5 million people that will be on the registry. About 55% of transplants find one match in the 1.5 million people. So it's a waiting process. After you become a part of the registry, it might be a year or so before you do get a call. And then when you do, there are other procedures that we do to make sure that you are a close match to the patient.
And what are the chances, once someone is listed in the bone marrow registry, what are the chances that they'll actually be donating?
Oh, that they'll actually be a match? The chances are like 1 in 20,000, or better said, 55% of our bone marrow registry will have one match.
Okay, and what happens when you get a match?
Then there are other procedures. We take more samples because we want to make sure that the patient and the donor accept the blood transfusion, or the bone marrow transfusion. There is a consultation which makes sure that the donor wants to go through with this, because it is an overnight stay in the hospital. And then it's the harvest. The third step would be the harvest of the bone marrow.
And how does the transplant work?
The patient would be at the hospital where the bone marrow donor would have their operation. It's where they take the bone marrow out of the hip, and I know this is where your toes will curl, but they say it's a very painless experience. It's kind of like slipping and falling on the ice is how they say that it feels, but they do take the bone marrow out of the hip, and then they immediately transfer it to the patient, and it's called a harvest. The chances of that happening, of the harvest being successful, is 80%. Now that's real exciting to think about the odds. If you're 1 in...
Okay. Well, we're going to take another break now. When we come back, we're going to get to that crucial question of why donating blood is more important at the holidays. Come back, we're talking about donating blood at the holidays and why that is very important. And we're down to that question right now. Linda, can you answer for us? Why do we need more blood at the holidays?
Well, the holidays is a difficult time. People are busy. They tend not to be coming in to donate blood. And then we also have problems because the schools and the colleges are out, and that's one of the places that we go to draw blood. Also, General Motors, which, by the way, is our single greatest donor resource, is off between Christmas and New Year's, so that cuts down our possibilities a whole lot. So what's happening is we have a constant need for blood. The blood supply has to be there, and the need does not go down during holidays, but it becomes much more difficult to get the blood. So it's really critically important for people, particularly during the holidays, to bite the bullet and give the gift of life and come on in and donate.
What type of blood do you need the most, usually?
Whatever blood isn't on the shelf is what we need the most. We need type O and type A positive are the most common types, so of course more people need that type of blood too. So if you think you've got a common type of blood then we really need you.
What percentage of people will need blood sometime in their lives?
This is kind of scary, I think, when I think of it myself. 75% of the general population will need blood sometime in their life, and they sure want it to be there when they do need it. So it's something to remember. It could be you that needs that blood that's not sitting on the shelf.
And also, what percentage of people actually donate blood at this point?
This is quite sad, actually. About 3 to 5% of the population that could give blood does give blood. So we're just tapping a very small amount of the population who could be giving blood.
So 3 to 5% of people actually donate blood,
right.
And 75% of people will need blood sometime in their lives.
That's correct.
Those are scary statistics.
Yes, it is.
Now, does the Saginaw Valley Blood Program have a system for storing your own blood?
Yes, and that's called autologous donations, where your doctor requests that you give blood prior to surgery, for instance, so that you can have your own blood back. And what they do is they come into the blood center, usually a few weeks before their surgery is scheduled, and give the blood, and it is kept there at the blood center until it's time for the surgery, at which time it's sent to the hospital and is there waiting for you if you need it.
Okay. And there's been a lot of hospital expansion in the area recently, especially in Saginaw. How does that affect our blood supplies?
Well, with the expansion, of course, there's more surgeries, there are more procedures that use blood and blood components, so the need for blood is going up rapidly, and we need to keep our supply up there, too. So it's really important that we get more donors, and people out there that are thinking of maybe they'd like to donate. This would be just an excellent time. They have one more chance. On Monday, our blood center will be open, and they can come in on 1771 Tittabawassee and give the gift of life before this year is out.
What about when the average size of the area's employers decrease, when different employers have a smaller number of people who are working for them? How does that affect your efforts?
Well, of course, that means also that there aren't as many people to go to get blood. But one thing that we can do now that we have our beautiful big blood bus is that we can go to smaller places that don't have room for us to set up inside and get blood, even as few as 15 units of blood. So we can do that now, which is really helpful.
For someone who's watching the show right now, what is the easiest thing that they can do if they want to go give blood? What's the soonest opportunity they have, the easiest way for them to give blood?
They can give blood Monday, right after Christmas at the blood center. There are also blood mobiles coming up. They can call us and we'll tell them where they're at. On the 29th, and since this is a Red Cross show, we would definitely want to say the American Red Cross is having their blood drive on the 29th, and we'd love to see everybody out there on Michigan Ave, 1232 North Michigan. Come out, give blood, join us at the Red Cross, and give a pint of blood.
Now, in a moment, we're going to show you once again those listings of blood drives that are coming up in this area. First of all, sometimes people have questions on donating blood, if they're right for donating blood, or some of the specifics people want to know. If you want to know more information about the Saginaw Valley Blood Program that Linda and Gail work for, here is some information. It's at 1771 Tittabawassee in Saginaw, at I-675 and Tittabawassee Road, and their phone number is 517-755-5387. So if you have any questions, give them a buzz or stop into the office and they'll be able to tell you what you need to know. Now, is there anything else that you'd like to add, Gail or Linda?
Well, I think our most important message is people have to realize there is no other source. If it's not on the shelf for the unexpected, the final outcome is that the patient would die. And you need to take a walk down a corridor in a hospital and look in the rooms and see how many people are hooked up to blood bags. Some not so old, some very old. We use about 16,000 units of blood a year, and it's got to be there for the unexpected. The blood that you donate Monday will not be ready until Wednesday. And it can go to a 2-day-old child, a 17-year-old teenager, 32-year-old mommy. You never know when your loved one will need it. The whole process takes about 45 minutes, but the actual giving of the blood is only about 5 minutes. We're not asking you to jump into a flaming house. We're just asking you to share your good health with someone else. And when your loved one's in the hospital, then you'll know, then you'll want to know, will it be there at 3 o'clock in the morning, and where does the blood come from? It's very reassuring to know that the blood comes from our community, from our neighbors and friends. So, roll up your sleeve and share your good health with others. Give 60 minutes. That could be a lifetime for someone else. Call the blood center and we'll tell you where our blood drives are in the community. The Saginaw News also on a Sunday has a listing of all of our outlining area blood drives. The Saginaw Wheels will be sponsoring this broadcast blood boost. Everybody that donates January 2, 3, and 4 will receive a free hockey puck that's autographed by a hockey team and a ticket to one of their upcoming games. We try to make it a fun event. The theme is be a sport, and that's what you are when you roll up your sleeve and give the gift of life. So I think we got our message across. We need blood.
Always. Give anywhere you can.
And it doesn't matter what type.
Today, give tomorrow. Give somewhere, and give as often as you can.
Okay, and it's a great thing to think about over the holidays, Christmas Day, everybody's celebrating.
Yeah. I think the biggest fear is the needle in the arm. No one likes the needle. We wouldn't want the person that would like the needle in the arm, you know? So if your fears are that you don't like a needle in your arm, that's normal. We all feel like that. But to know that you can do something that doesn't cost money and is just giving of your time can last a long time. It's a silent hero effect. And until your loved one, again, until your loved one needs blood, you won't realize how important it is to donate. You can have this much fun every 56 days, so you can donate 4 times a year.
And one thing to remember when you do donate is to eat a nutritious meal before. That just keeps you feeling good. And then you want to remember to drink lots of liquids afterwards to replenish the liquid that you've lost donating blood. And here is something that's wonderful for this time of the year. I think of this myself, and in fact, after I'm finished here, I'm going to go to one of the blood mobiles and give blood because that's about a pound. I mean, if they would let me give about 12, I would do that just to get that pound. But that's something to remember. If you want to lose a quick pound, come give blood.
What of all the females out there coming?
Right.
Okay, let's go through those listings once again of your opportunity to give blood in the next couple of weeks. Area holiday blood drives on the 26th of December, which is Monday. The Michigan Community Blood Center is offering a facility for you to give blood at 1017 Johnson in Bay City from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And, of course, at the Saginaw Valley Blood Program at 1771 Tittabawassee in Saginaw, you can donate blood from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. On December 28th in Essexville at the K of C, you can donate blood from 2:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And on December 29th at the Saginaw American Red Cross, offices on North Michigan in Saginaw, from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. there will be a blood drive. On December 30th in Pinconning at the K of C, you can donate blood from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. And in January, coming up real soon, January 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, as Gail mentioned, Saginaw Valley Blood Program, we're having blood drives 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. On January 2nd, at the Michigan Community Blood Center from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., you can give blood. And on the 5th and 6th of January, the Bay Medical Center lobby, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., you can come and give blood. Well, we're glad that you could be with us today and learn more about the process of giving blood during the holidays. And Linda and Gail, I'm very glad that you could join me in the studios to talk more about it. And this is a time to think about something like that. This is a gift that doesn't cost anyone anything at all. And like I said before, you can give all year round. And how about a little challenge? If you've given blood in 1994, how about giving just once more in 1995? If you gave 3 times, then give 4 times in 1995. If you gave once, then give twice. And if you've never given blood at all, well, this is your chance. Just once is not going to hurt you. We ask you to just give blood once in 1995. What a great resolution to make with only a week left. Now, the American Red Cross phone numbers for you to remember. In Bay County, 517-892-1541. In Midland County, 517-631-3262. And in Saginaw County, 517-754-8181. The Wolverine blood region is at 810-232-1401. And in Oski, it's 616-347-5984. So if you have any questions, please call us up and we'll be able to fill you in more on donating blood. Well, thank you for joining us, and please enjoy your Christmas holiday. We'll see you next week on Currents.